Nuclear programs in North Korea and Iran have been making the headlines for quite a while, but Pakistan's nuclear projects have managed to stay off the media's radar. The Taliban has reportedly been targeting nuclear sites in Pakistan. So what would happen if the Taliban succeeded? To answer this, we're going live to Dina Gusovsky, who's in Washington, D.C. Over to you, Dina.
Hi there, Marina. Well, a new report by the U.S. Military Academy reveals that terrorists have attacked 3 of Pakistan's nuclear sites in the past 2 years alone. Now, this report really comes amid fears that the Taliban and al-Qaeda could get a hold of Pakistan's nuclear sites, most of which are located in or around the regions of insurgent strongholds. So, what could happen if the terrorists get their hands on these weapons? Could this spell nuclear disaster not just for Pakistan, but for the rest of the world? Well, joining me to discuss just that is Jeff Stein, a national security expert and author. Thank you so much for being here. So when we talk about the nuclear issue, particularly here in the United States, it seems that Pakistan is ignored a little bit. If you listen to mainstream media in the United States, they talk about Iran all the time, talk about Korea. But given this report, could Pakistan and everything that's going on over there pose a larger threat than these other countries?
Well, there's only so much bandwidth available in the news, and we've got 2 wars going on. We've got a health care bill in Congress and so on. There's a lot going on, and of course there's all the celebrity news that we have to cover. But Pakistan has been pretty much on the front page of the news off and on for a long time now, especially the problem of nuclear safeguards in Pakistan. This latest report, and the only thing we're really certain about is the confusion it has sowed. Pakistan, as you know today, denied that the attacks on the installations were anywhere close to anything connected to their nuclear weapons complex.
Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. First of all, the attacks were on at the gates of a vast weapons complex, which almost certainly includes nuclear facilities. On the other hand, these attacks don't seem to have been designed to penetrate the base and get access to nuclear material. So in one case, the controversy is overblown. In another case, it's worrisome.
But if the controversy is not overblown and the terrorists do get their hands on some of these nuclear sites, then could they create their own bombs in the future?
Well, that's a complex question. It's not like a firecracker they can pick up and run off with and just fire off in the streets. Obviously, there's lots of elements to a nuclear weapon which don't easily come together. The nuclear weapons, Pakistan assures us, and U.S. authorities agree, are kept separate. The nuclear material and the explosive devices that make them go together. It would take a real expert, a real nuclear scientist, if in the case that the terrorists were able to get a hold of these components, it would take a real nuclear scientist or engineers to put that weapon together. So the idea that terrorists can run in there and grab a nuclear weapon and take it away and set it off someplace is unrealistic. That's not going to happen.
So you're saying there won't be a nuclear disaster if they were to get their hands on some of these weapons?
Not necessarily. I mean, what we really worry about is defectors inside the nuclear complex, inside Pakistan's military forces, who have sympathies with the Taliban and want to help them and could smuggle parts out, part by part by part, and at the other end it could be assembled. Or could just give the knowledge, as A.Q. Khan, the Pakistani scientist, did to North Korea and Libya and so on. He gave the nuclear knowledge away, and the North Koreans gave them materials and so on. So it can be done, but a group of individual terrorists who live in caves aren't going to do this. It takes a big, vast nuclear complex to put one of these weapons together.
Well, the U.S. government is still going to be concerned about this. So as far as you know, what are U.S. authorities doing, if anything, to make sure that the Taliban and al-Qaeda stay away from these nuclear facilities?
Well, there's 2 parts to that question. One is we're very much involved with the Pakistanis in helping them assure security of their nuclear weapons. And as far as we know, the Pakistani government is fully cooperative with that. Keeping them away from these nuclear complexes is another question altogether. There's not much we can do except advise the Pakistanis of how to deal with the insurgency, which we're doing. The Pakistanis are having a tough time with that insurgency now, but we're not going to land paratroopers there to help the Pakistani army, and we might even not land paratroopers there if the Pakistani nuclear complex were taken over, which is a very remote possibility. But we're fully engaged with the Pakistanis on this issue, and we don't think that there is a concerted effort to actually penetrate these installations and steal nuclear weapons at this time.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the future. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to keep you posted on all the latest developments of this story. But for right now, back to you in Moscow.
And we'll be looking forward to that, Dina. Thanks very much indeed for this from Washington, D.C.